The February 12th, 2024 meeting of the Oakdale Environmental Management Commission. And the first thing, we'll have a roll call. Commissioner Yang.
Present.
Commissioner Doolittle.
Present.
Commissioner Girding.
Present.
And I believe Commissioner Wilson has said she was going to be absent this month. And I'd also like to point out we have our staff liaison, Hannah Dunn, present, and also our city council liaison, Mayor Kevin Zabel, is present. And for our meeting, so the next thing we'll do is have the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone can please stand, face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So now we'll have approval of the agenda for our meeting this evening. I look for a motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of approval of the agenda, say aye.
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 Okay, the agenda is approved, and next item is approval of our meeting minutes from our November 2023 meeting. This was in our packet, and I'm wondering if there are any changes to those meeting minutes that you would like. Well, hearing no changes requested, I would look for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from our November 20th, 2023 meeting as written.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of approving our November 2023 meeting minutes, say aye.
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 Meeting minutes are approved. Thank you. So we have a time on our agenda for an open forum. We have no one here, I believe, that would like to be part of that open forum. So we'll go right into our commissioner review. And the first item on the, we have on this also our, is that coming? Oh, that'll be later in the meeting. I got it here. Thank you. So our old business item is the 2023 Washington County Recycling Grant. And this grant for last year, we have had various outcomes on projects there, and I will turn it over to our staff liaison, Hannah Dunn.
Thank you.
Give us an update on that.
The memo provides the EMC just with an update regarding the 2023 Washington County Recycling Grant. The end of grant report was submitted to Washington County on January 31st. Overall, 2023 was a successful year with lots of communication via social media and the Oakdale update regarding waste and recycling. Other grant activities included creating reusable bags, hosting pumpkin recycling drop-off at City Hall, and conducting the WasteWise assessment in support of the added project of increasing recycling access in city parks. At this time, I'd just like to offer the opportunity for commissioners to discuss the 2023 outcomes, specifically the WasteWise results. This is the first time the EMC has seen the results, and staff would appreciate any feedback or input for actualizing the results and creating a plan to roll out dual stream bins over the coming years.
Great. Thank you. I guess I can comment that I think going to the, the assessment that was done by WasteWise, it looks like a good assessment, and going to the dual stream system, and which will encourage more recycling, and so I think it's a matter of implementation at this point, and which will require some funding, and I see this is being done over 8 years.
Yep.
So
That is our current plan, yes.
under the current plan,
Yeah.
yeah.
Things
And
can
I think
change.
one comment was, you know, in discussion, that we just had, that, again, to look and see if there may be additional money available through grants or whatever to speed up that implementation. I think spreading it over 8 years seems long to me. And I think there are probably a few priority areas that were identified that if we could at least address those on upfront as soon as possible, because they are parks that are used, like the Discovery Center and Preserve, and also the Richard Walton Park, you know, and there's quite a few of the bins for each of those areas, so yeah. We can do more upfront.
Yeah, I
That
think
would be great.
we chose 8 years just to kind of think long-term, so that, you know, when the end of these waste bins, you know, they're no longer able to be used, that we don't have to purchase a large chunk, you know, 20 years from now, a large chunk, so it's kind of spaced out over 8 years, so that in the future, when they're at the end of their life, it'll be easier to purchase new ones in kind of another 8-year plan.
What is the end of the life cycle for one of these
That's
bins?
if we take good care of them, then I don't know. I don't know the exact lifespan, but if we take care of them, and then I anticipate a pretty long time. One thing that WasteWise recommends is they have to be on concrete pads, because if they're not, they can start to warp. So, you know, that's part of our rollout plan, is to make sure every single bin that we purchase will be on a concrete pad. And as long as there's not any vandalism or destruction, then I think we can anticipate that they'd last a good amount of time.
You know, I know there's also a discussion about moving to the bigger capacity bins, the 51-gallon ones. With that, is there any discussion about reducing when they get cleaned?
Right. Those sorts of conversations, the logistical of maintenance, hasn't been totally discussed with Public Works. Something WasteWise offered is, once we start to implement this, the consultant will come back and talk to the Public Works staff that maintains those. And so that, you know, might be a discussion that can be had at that time. But probably in the summer, same frequency, just because of the smell and the heat, but maybe not for recycling. So a lot of logistics to figure out in terms of servicing the new bins.
Yeah, my last question is just for curiosity. I know there were recommendations, and a lot of these parks already didn't have anything, but what was the decision-making like to not add anything to those either? Was there just not enough capacity there?
I think, you know, the consultant from WasteWise has been doing this a long time and has done assessments for a lot of different cities and their park systems, and it's just probably the recommendation that is made for a lot of them, that if you don't have trash bins, current waste bins, there's no point in putting new ones, as long as there's not a litter problem, just probably not to overwhelm the park staff and to, throw off their current maintenance schedule too much.
Okay, thank you.
I also noticed that they want to reduce the number of bins. And is that driven by, was there an analysis that they did about that, or?
Again, I think John from Wastewise just has a lot of experience, and I think he thought we just had too many waste bins. So if we're going to have two different streams in one bin, we can probably reduce the amount of bins, again, probably to not overwhelm parks maintenance staff, since now they have to service two different streams. But it'll all be kind of a learning as we go. If we reduce bins and it's not working, then we'll just have to pivot and potentially purchase another bin for that park.
Well, regarding the outcomes, I think the project outcomes from 2023 regarding food scraps was really great. That program has really moved forward, getting a lot more people involved, and I think, being at the farmer's market and giving out free starter kits and that was, a great promotion of getting people to think about that, because unfortunately, food waste is, there is a lot of food waste, and to be able to at least compost that rather than be part of our garbage is great. Also, the reusable bags, I think promoting that, and maybe we have some additional ideas for this year that we could do around that as well. I think, the grocery stores here in Oakdale as well are using, if we could maybe work with them to promote also reusable bags a little more, that would be helpful too. But I think if we can provide the residents with some options and promote that, that's great.
I was also intrigued by the presentation to Guardian Angels. How did that come about? Was that something to expand on? It seemed like it might have been a good, example of some good PR.
Yes, they had reached out to have city staff come and speak about just various environmental things. They've got a speaker series that's really geared towards environmental. A lot of the church goers are very passionate about that. So they'd reached out. Yeah, we didn't really take advantage of a photo op or pushing the PR of meeting with them, but I feel like it was a good relationship connection that will hopefully continue to nurture and reach out as the city continues to do environmental work.
Yeah, no, it seemed like it made me think that maybe there was, not an aggressive marketing campaign towards churches or whatever, but just if there was, I don't know, maybe they have a bulletin board, we could put a thing up about Oakdale, recycling efforts or something, or schools, that kind of thing. It seems like schools a lot of times will be engaged in environmental related things, and maybe they'd be interested in hearing from what the city's up to. When they reach out to us, it's even better, I guess.
Yeah, I had following up after the meeting, I had sent that EMC flyer that join us. So hopefully they have that posted in there on their bulletin, and maybe we can fill these last 2 seats.
May I ask what the feedback was from the pumpkin event?
In terms of tons we collected,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any results, so I should probably
Okay.
bug the county and see if they've come up with a number, because it was very full. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
hear what we,
Yeah.
and I definitely think in the future, City Hall is the place for it to go.
To live.
Any further comments on this item? No? Well, thank you, Hannah, for putting this together. Appreciate that, and I appreciate the outcomes as well and the work to do that. I think that we had good progress this past year, and I know you came on midway past year, so quite a bit done in that short time frame. Thank you. So the next item, we'll move into our new business, and now we're looking at the 2024 Washington County Recycling Grant projects, and so we've already kind of started our discussion a little bit about that, what we can further do in 2024. And again, Hannah, if you want to lead this off.
The memo just, provides some of the same background that was in the previous memo about, meeting the Oakdale Comprehensive Plan goals. There are 3 draft projects listed for use of funds. And just as a reminder, funds are based on municipality household count. So it's a pretty set dollar amount. Typically, the city receives around $50,000 in funds to support recycling activities, with about 25% going to capital expenses. As was highlighted in the previous agenda item regarding 2023 outcomes, the city expects to utilize those waste-wise results and purchase dual-stream recycling bins over the coming years. So Project 3 is anticipated to use a large portion of the capital expense funds. The other projects listed are more promotion and outreach and are low cost. So with that, I'd like to open it up to commissioners for feedback, input.
Well, I think looking at the project deliverables here, that the continue to educate and people about composting and at various events and at the indoor and outdoor markets in Oakdale. I think that's a good approach, because it was successful last year, and keep that going and build on that as well. And yeah, I think what we discussed regarding the parks and having the dual waste bins, that'll be a big project this year to kick off and get that moving forward in those critical park areas. And I guess one way to, like I think there are, in Walton Park, 15 or was it 31 areas that, maybe they can spread them out strategically to start with or something. Because that's a heavy use area, the softball fields and tennis courts and everything, pickleball courts, and so can get them strategically placed this year. That'd be great progress.
When is Oakdale expected to join the food scraps pickup program?
Yes, so city council at the January or December meeting, I gave an update to City Council that it would be rolling out to Oakdale in 2024. So they're anticipating about April 1st. This is, we can't publicly promote or do our kind of marketing campaign until April 1st, but that date's pretty set. So that's anticipated, when it's going to be available to Oakdale residents, so.
With the current cities that are participating, what's the rate that program is utilized? Did they let you guys know?
So the phase one, I can't remember what that percentage was. They have certain goals that they want to meet, and, they probably sound pretty low to us, but, they're just hoping over the next years to keep continuing to roll it out to new communities and increase the participation rates in phase one, and we're part of phase two. So I don't know that percentage of household participation off the top of my head. I can look into that and get back to you.
Sure. Do we have any projections for Oakdale then?
Nope, I think they just have the goal that they want to hit, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Well, the reason I'm asking is is it about accessibility, right? Because when I did review this, I looked at the website online, and then it was explaining it was pretty good, but a lot of it was like, well, how do you get the new bags? And the only way was like you had to create an account and you had to order it through them, right? So it was like, is there another way we could make that more accessible?
right. Because of the way the program is going to pick up the compost, it's going in your trash bin versus Hennepin County, who has a separate waste bin. They had to design specific bags that could withstand being transported like that. So unfortunately, you have to order it through their website, but they do have it, both the website and the phone ordering available in multiple languages, and it's free. And I think they anticipate that it will be free for some time. So hopefully that's reduced some of the barriers, the accessibility barriers, but yeah, there's still going to be some hurdles for some people to overcome, but I think they're trying their best to make sure that it can be available to as many people as possible.
Thanks.
Well, a couple ideas about education and outreach. I think, looking at other churches, and as I remember, Transfiguration Church has rooftop solar there, so they may have an interest in learning more about environmental opportunities. And Commissioner Doolittle mentioned schools as well, and I guess as a starting point, I know that District 622 has a sustainability person, and I know she was looking at, this was a couple of years ago, but there was a Solar for Schools program, and she was looking at solar for the renovations that were being done at Skyview and at Tartan and that, and I don't know what it became of it, but so there may be some interest on in the school level, and maybe starting at that point to see what's going on already would be one way to see how to form a education, if there is an opportunity for that type of education for the schools.
And they may be, schools may be a good candidate to get some food scraps from, too.
Yeah, really.
Is there a pipeline? Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I'm not sure exactly how to tie them in, but obviously that's a huge stream of compost-eligible material, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to offer, is that a pipeline to a student representative?
That too, yeah. Yes, it would be nice to get someone from Tartan,
student there that would be interested in, so maybe making that connection there might be a way to see if there is a teacher or faculty that could recommend a student that would. Any other further comments on?
I guess just one comment is, should we be thinking differently about promotion with the curbside program, or is it kind of one and the same as a drop-off?
The county will probably,
Yeah.
lay out quite a bit of that promotions plan.
Good.
Their communication staff and our communication staff has met, so there's a plan in place. I can share that with you, see if I can share that with you, but a lot of the material is going to flow through the county and kind of be done, as their program, so we're just helping promote, but a lot of it will be done
Yeah,
through the
no,
county in the way that they want it.
It's perfect. I was just making sure that, from a concept of time, that this kind of program doesn't add more complexities to our staff if we're, have to share something or so. Good.
I guess I have one other thing that just came to mind. Are we getting good data from our residential waste service providers?
That I don't know. I know that
In the past, it's been an issue, and I think it was supposedly corrected, but it came to mind that, if we really have these setting up targets for increasing the pounds of recycling collected, that it'd be nice to know we're getting good data and consistent data from all the haulers. Yeah, and I'm not close enough to that to know how that data is provided and to whom it's provided, and if they're using a consistent method for reporting that between the different haulers, because we do have 5 in Oakdale now.
Right. I know my predecessors had used the Regional Indicators Initiative to calculate some of the, the recycling, tons of recycling and waste. And I don't know where that initiative gets their data or who runs that. But I know that the Regional Indicators Initiative has some data on that. So I can look further into where they're getting that data and just kind of dive into data sources and.
That would be good, yeah. I think, at one point, I think the county was trying to correct the issues with getting consistent data. But, yeah, if you could look further into that, that'd be good. All right. Did you get the feedback you needed on this?
Yes, thank you.
Great. All right, let's move on then to our 2024 Environmental Management Commission communications strategy. And with a lot of our work tied to communications, as we just were discussing with the waste program, we have various methods of getting communications out there, various channels, and also over the years we have developed in a editorial calendar with different topics monthly where we stress certain areas like waste reduction or energy efficiency as the year rolls around, and try to make it relevant to what's going on statewide and in the country, and as well as what's relative to our strategy in Oakdale. So, yeah, I'll let you go ahead and walk us through this.
Yeah, just as a reminder for the new commissioners, at the beginning of each year, the EMC discusses the environmental communications strategy plan, which is pretty much executed through this editorial plan, or this editorial calendar. It's a flexible strategy. We can veer from it if more relevant or timely environmental content comes up. The calendar in the memo lays out the different themes for each month. So I don't know if you want to go month by month, or if you just want to take a moment to look through all the different months and see if you have any commentary. Some of those are a little bit more set in stone, like April with the food scraps pickup program. But the rest of them are, we can be flexible and move things around.
Yeah, I think going through it month by month, and then we can see how that all fits together for the year. In my review of it ahead of the meeting, it seemed like it made sense. The topics, the monthly topics, and with timing, I think, being important as well as we go through the year. So, yeah, why don't you just go through month by month and you can see if there's agreement on that. And, yeah, we can see if we want to move anything around too.
Perfect. Well, we've already passed January, but we did Plastic-Free Challenge. The city became an official partner of the Hennepin County, Ramsey County, Washington County Plastic-Free Challenge. So in January, we encouraged residents to join the challenge. And then we're almost, halfway through February, but February 18th is National Battery Day, so the theme for the month was recycling. So I'd sent communications some material about Be a Battery Hero. That campaign, the 7 counties in the metro are doing a Recycling Exists campaign right now, just to kind of break down the myths that, people think that when they recycle things, they don't actually get recycled. So they've got a really big push for that campaign. I believe we posted something about that just last week. And then looking at March, the dates related to water conservation makes that topic pretty timely. World Water Day is March 22nd. National Groundwater Awareness Week is March 10th to the 16th. So the plan is to have communications content focus on water conservation. That can be rain gardens, that can be grants and funding through the watershed districts, the Blue Thumb, Metro Blooms has a lot of information. If Washington County has their rain barrel sale, we can promote that. So March is, hopefully going to be pretty water intensive in terms of content.
Yeah, I like the timing on that because it gives people a chance to think about planting their garden, and if they want to do a rain garden, to get out in front of that.
Right.
Because getting that done in the spring is the best time.
Right, and giving people some lead time to figure out contractors, because I'm sure work starts to fill up if we were to wait till May to start promoting something like that, so.
Yeah.
And then moving on to April, it's going to be mostly food scraps pickup program, because that's hopefully when we're going to start rolling that out. Earth Day is April 22nd, so, we can make a good tie-in between Earth Day and food scraps. May, there's lots of weeks and days related to biking and walking. It's National Bike Month, so I think last year that was the same theme, but it fits in super well, especially as the weather starts getting nicer, so I think it makes sense to continue that. The Oakdale pedestrian bicycle plan, is done, but we can, I think last May, there may have been some community engagement or some updates that were provided to people, but now we can just, kind of highlight that that's done, take a look at it. June, I believe last year was also renewable energy. So I think we'll again focus on that. We can highlight IRA rebates for solar available to people. We can promote programs through Excel Energy. So I think that theme makes sense for June. While we did have the plastic-free challenge content in January, July is plastic-free month, so I think maybe, bring that theme back and promote our reusable bags. And that especially since, July is, farmers markets are up and running, I'll be attending, so it might be another good push for plastic-free. August, I kind of left a little, just kind of open to whatever is relevant for the month. So if it's water conservation efforts, or there's a recycling education committee that puts out content that, they have a calendar, so we could align with their content. So that one's, I left intentionally just a little open. September's, last year was also electric vehicles, but there's National Drive Electric Week, there's Car Free Day, so it really makes sense to continue with EVs in September. So could highlight our IRA rebates for EVs and lots of other tools to help people start thinking about, if they want to start buying an EV, there's so many resources to help them work through that. October, and energy efficiency, again, it's just with the different dates, and it really makes sense to continue having October's energy efficiency. So, while we don't have the Home Energy Squad rebates yet, we should definitely have them by then, so it would be a good time to promote. And once we have that agreement signed, there will definitely be some pushes promoting that earlier throughout that, don't really align with that editorial calendar now, but we'll promote those. But again, if rebates are still available, we can promote those. And then November, it's America Recycles Day on November 15th, so good opportunity to promote pumpkin recycling and other recycling efforts, another good opportunity to do a promotional push for the food scraps pickup program. And then December, again, low waste holidays. It's always just a good time to remind people to be as waste conscious as possible. So a lot of the monthly themes have stayed the same. The front end of the years kind of got a little changed up, but kind of keeping the second half. But I've got a good list of what different things we promoted in 2023. So if it makes sense to promote some of the same things again, we will. Or if there's new content we can push to educate people about other things, then we'll definitely hit those.
Yeah. I think it looks good. I like the flow in the months, and yeah, I think as other programs we become aware of, like I just became aware of another group buy program that's available, I think in Minneapolis and St. Paul, but I think also for the surrounding cities, and so if Grow Solar Twin Cities doesn't happen again this year, depending on the capacity of the Midwest Recycling Agency, then we would have a backup to promote and information on. So comments on the calendar here?
I think it looks good too.
So for May, the Oakdale Bike and Ped Plan, I love that it's in there because I think even I as a human, we need a couple reminders before things are real. So I like seeing that. And thinking of the plan itself, there's probably other themes within it that would lend themselves to maybe some other months here. So, as an asset that you've created, I like the fact that you're not shelving it, it's just done. So I look forward to how we can revisit that and repurpose that same content maybe across some other categories or other narratives that we're creating.
And just one idea that I had regarding communications and in general for this year, but especially regarding this plan, do we specifically have ways we reach out to the businesses in Oakdale?
I think right now the best way for at least some of the businesses is through the business retention something and attraction expansion. Business retention, expansion, and attraction visits is one way to tie into businesses. Granted, that's only, X amount of businesses within a year. I can talk with the other Oakdale staff about other good ways to connect with businesses more.
Yeah, I think that would be good, because I mean, we had a discussion earlier about the home furniture and all the things they're doing, and just to be able to somehow reach out on these programs that may be available to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever a story done on the Animal Emergency and Referral Center?
Don't believe so, or I haven't come across anything.
I think they have solar, I think.
I can look into it.
Okay. If there was talk about that.
Any other comments on the editorial calendar for the year? I think we've got a good start, something to work with, and as we approach each upcoming month, we take a look at this throughout the year, and if changes need to be made, it's flexible to change during the year as well. So I think this is a good place to start for the year. Thank you for bringing that together. So the next item on our agenda is the environmental fair planning. And we've had some talk about this. It didn't happen in 2023. We thought we could maybe do something with that, but looking at having an environmental fair that would be hosted by our Environmental Management Commission, and bringing in various organizations that would have booths or tables set up at an event. And I think the original thought was to have this at the Discovery Center. And in thinking about this, at least myself, I think, and as mentioned here, is having it tied to an existing community event would probably get more people out that are already out at the event. And I was wondering if something could be done with Summerfest, because that's probably the biggest community event of the year. No? Or connecting to some big community event. So did you have anything you want to add here?
No, mostly just that, we had these bullet points to facilitate conversation. We can go through them one by one. We can just kind of open it up for general comments. Regardless, if this EMC would like to move forward with environmental fair in any capacity. City staff will present the idea to city council at one of their upcoming workshops, just to get their input.
Was there any talk about which community events we could possibly be added to?
So some of the different community events we could leverage, Summers Farmers Markets, if once a month we have one or two different organizations come, we could do it that way. Summerfest is an option, though I think there's a deadline for vendors to apply, and it's maybe the end of April, so that's, a deadline that's, we would have to meet just to figure that out. Touch a Truck is an event, family fun inflatables, indoor markets later in the winter. I think that kind of hits the biggest ones that we would probably consider.
Well, some of the questions here, organizations that we might want to see in attendance, I think it's good to think about that, who we might want to invite. And since we have 3 watershed districts in Oakdale, it would be nice to have them all represented there. I know it was really helpful to have the Ramsey, Washington County watershed in November present to us, and I think maybe we could talk to the other watersheds this year, but to be present so that they can, the programs they have, especially for providing grants for rain gardens and things, that would be great for people to be able to talk to them.
Couple of thoughts on involvement by others. One is there's an Oakdale Garden Club that could, talk about rain garden plantings or that kind of thing. That's a possibility, them involved. And
Native plants.
there's also there's huge amounts of money for people to buy e-bikes, and I wonder if a bike shop or something would be, or maybe even a couple, would be good to solicit, and maybe that could be combined with bike repair workshop or stuff like that. Maybe there's even a bike ride or something associated with it. I don't know, but the e-bike money is actually pretty incredible what they're giving out, and I think that would be a good one to find a way to get the word out about.
Now, when you talk about, there's a question here about the commission participating in the planning effort. Is there going to be a subcommittee set up for that?
I would assume it would just plan it at our meetings here. So don't exactly know how that will look like, but just kind of gauging interest in some more of that hands-on involvement with the planning.
Yeah, I mean, adding on, then the next question is, do the commissioners plan to attend in staff? And, I always say I'm happy to attend in staff if, as needed, right? I don't want to put the burden all on city staff. I'm happy to be, it's just, there has to be some guidance on what we can publicly engage with.
I've personally loved staffing the table for giving away our compost bins or our organics bins, so I see this as no different, and I would be happy to extend and staff in that way too, or plan, or whatever you need.
Yeah. Just going back to some of the other organizations, I always think kind of a bigger thing. And, you know, a lot of the environmentally focused areas, especially with the past bill, has to do with transportation, right? So, you know, we could possibly think about asking the Office of Sustainability and Public Health from MnDOT and to come and talk about electrical vehicles and what's the plan going on in Minnesota for the future of that, and also automated vehicles. And then, you know, they also have their bike plan that, you know, runs through Oakdale.
Speaking of that, I won maybe the timing's good. I'm not sure exactly what the gold line timing is, but maybe those people would want to come in and have a booth to advertise what's going on with that station. Those stations, I guess, here in Oakdale.
I mean, I think one of the questions that's going to come up is if we ask these organizations, one of the questions is there going to be a charge, right, for a vendor booth or a table, especially if it's our own fair and not one we're collaborating with?
Which organization puts on the CUB or the, Citizens Utility, the bill clinics? Is that one? Yeah. Maybe helpful to have people like that there, partners like that there too.
Yeah, definitely.
May not need to be, or extend out to Excel, but it would be nice to have Excel. Do we have a sense in community what other events that would draw from this audience have looked like? Like, I don't even know who else is doing this type of event. Open question to any commission.
I don't know a great answer, but I was at an event that seemed really good, sort of environmental themed, one in Durham, North Carolina, actually, I think, within the last year sometime. And it made me, I mean, it seemed to be pretty popular. There was a lot of people there. But it wasn't all environmental, but, you know, a lot of it was. But they had food booths and stuff as well. I don't know exactly who put it on or anything like that. I really wasn't paying attention to that part. But they had a good thing, and I actually, you know, it would be probably worthwhile to kind of do what you're suggesting and just do a best practices, you know, Chat GPT search or something. Find out what's out there.
Yeah, there used to be a home improvement fair at Skyview, and we had a booth there for a few years, but then that event ended. They stopped doing it there. So, yeah, that was an excellent event because tying in energy efficiency and all that. But yeah, it'd be nice if there was some community-wide event that we could tap into.
I guess just a point, since you brought up the building sort of efficiency and so forth, clearly it would be good to have plenty of material there about these energy audits and all that kind of stuff, right?
Just a quick follow-up. Did staff have any guidance as it says, recommends that maybe they have some thoughts about existing community events that are to be leveraged?
Yeah, I think we were
Do they have any, just,
thinking like over the course of the whole summer, like different farmers markets,
got it.
was kind of what we were thinking.
Well, maybe if we did do it related to the farmer's market, maybe to rethink this rather than inviting a lot of organizations to one event is to have it be, invite the watersheds one
1 week.
1 week and then have home energy audits then in the Cub Bill Clinic another week or and then maybe
Gateway
bike
cycle.
shops or another week, that type of thing might be a way to envision this. Spread that out over the course of the summer.
I like the idea of a series.
I wonder, would the, I don't know, the density of people be something that would, I don't know, attract some of these people, though? I mean, these farmers markets are not, there are people there, but not as big as a larger event. I just wonder if it would be too small a thing to get a lot of interest. Not sure about that.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I have a question. Is this event intended to be an annual event, or is this like a one-time thing?
Depends on how it goes.
Right,
I think that,
right.
I
And
think it's iterative.
well, part of the reason why I'm asking is if we attach to these other events, one of my concerns is our outreach going to be more muted because those people aren't directly there for what we're proposing, right? Let's say we go to the farmers market, I wouldn't say they're there more for the farmers, but that's the goal of that event, right? And if we get added on, it's kind of like we're there advertising, but we're more pushed in the background instead of being up front, right? And if we have just like one big event where we do every year, then the main theme of that event is energy saving. It's about about the environment, right? That everyone's there, everyone's focused on that one theme. I know it takes more work to put one together though, like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, that if we call it an environmental fair, is to bring in all of these things in one spot and really advertise it so that we get a lot of people showing up and have it, a Saturday morning from 9 to noon or something, and at the Discovery Center, and yeah, and really advertise it, and that all these different groups will be there, and see if we can make it a event, and if it's successful, it could become an annual event. Well, I think the bottom line here is that we'd like to host an environmental fair in some capacity. And probably need to think about this. I do like the idea, the initial idea, I think, was actually, at least the idea that I heard from Commissioner Wilson was to do a event at the Discovery Center and have it be an environmental fair. And I guess we should think about if that's the best option here for us. And I think can we draw enough people? I think if we had all of, these different things we talked about, the watershed districts, garden clubs, bike shops, home energy audit, the Cub Clinic and Bill Clinic and that type of thing, that maybe that would draw people that are interested in maybe one or two of those, and then they've got other things to be exposed to. Maybe we should, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, depending on the type of year, if it is decided that a separate standalone event can happen this year, we could still use the farmer's market as a marketing or comms runway to have a booth there every week, and then just remind people, and maybe we could do the introductions of who's coming to the fair, like theme it or something, so it ties with what's going to happen later in the year, which that's a TBD timeframe anyway, but it could be a hybrid approach. Ooh, I used the word hybrid. Whoops, sorry. Terrible word.
So do we want to revisit this at the March meeting and then bring it to city council once it's, or do we not want to get too far ahead and get their input before we go down a path?
I would personally be inclined to continue this and have a decision made at the March meeting. I think just maybe a little bit more time to discuss would be good.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right. Well, continue this discussion in March, and I think that we're all in favor of doing an environmental fair. Just give a little more thought as to the way we want to do this. All right, next we have the Home Energy Squad rebate marketing. And we have talked about in the past to have a program where we would offer a rebate, discount for Oakdale residents to have a Home Energy Squad evaluation. And I think I'll let you go ahead and go through the what has been brought to the city council, et cetera.
Yes, so just as a reminder, this item was brought forth by the commissioners to the mayor, the commission's council liaison, at the September 2023 EMC meeting. City council discussed the possibility of offering Home Energy Squad rebates to Oakdale residents at their November 14th, 2023 workshop. Council members were supportive of the idea and recommended that the city dedicate $5,000 rebates and $1,500 to marketing. An agreement still hasn't been signed with Center for Energy and Environment, the organization that administers the rebates, but but we're just trying to think ahead and discuss marketing of the rebate so that when we can go forward, we have a plan. I know other cities have sent out mailers. These are designed by Center for Energy and Environment just because Excel and CenterPoint has some design standards that need to be met. But because of the limited marketing budget, we can't send mailers to every household, so I'm not sure if the EMC could provide some ideas regarding how to prioritize which households or neighborhoods would receive mailers. Other cities typically have the rebates on their website and have information about that. Paid Facebook ads could be another low-cost option to promote the rebates. So those are kind of a few ideas. I'm not sure if the commissioners have any other marketing ideas that they feel would be effective.
I have a question and a follow-up question. Sorry if I interrupted you, Hannah. For these home energy squad rebates, it's open to everybody in Oakdale, correct? There's no income limits?
Correct. Nope, it would be open to everybody. There, the program itself through Excel and CenterPoint, if you meet an income threshold, if you're below that, then you get access to free visits regardless. So this is just kind of trying to help those who maybe don't meet that income threshold, but still maybe find it burdensome to conduct a home energy audit. So the city council was supportive of doing 50% rebate, so there's a couple different home energy squad visits, and then the city rebate would cover 50% of that.
Yeah, my follow-up question to that is, what do you think about, with this program coming online, contacting some of the, well, I was thinking more like the Star Tribune and the Pioneer Press, right? The newspapers, and asking if they would be interested in writing an article about it?
Definitely an option to consider, yeah.
Yeah. Right, because here you're talking about additional marketing ideas. Of course, we're going to do the standard ones that are usually written out, right?
Yeah, yep, we're definitely considering the mailer, paid Facebook ads, Oakdale update, so, if you, your residents, you live in the community, if you hear how other people are hearing about things, if one thing's maybe worth putting more money towards, those are kind of some of the ideas we're looking to gather from you. And this can be, if something pops into your head tomorrow, you can send me an email and we can kind of collect the ideas. So always free to send me emails.
Well, I think, the 50% rebate program seems pretty consistent with what other cities are doing. And I like that approach, and also working with the Center for Energy and the Environment on this, and having them administer the program with the rebates and everything would make it easier for the city to administer the program. So I like moving forward on that basis. Yeah?
Yeah. What exactly would be the user experience for this? How do people request it, and do they need to file a form to get a rebate, or what about the income?
Everything runs through Center for Energy and
Okay, so
Environment, so
they
we
handle
would
the whole thing.
direct people to go to their website, and they have the rebate, they have Oakdale 50% rebate
Got it.
programmed into their system, so when a resident inputs their address, it will just apply that rebate. And then CEE, invoices us quarterly, I believe, for how many residents have signed up for rebates. So it should be a pretty smooth experience. And then, basically we're cut out, like the resident just works directly with CEE to set up when they would come and visit and conduct the audit and get the results.
Is the rebate that Oakdale offers like branded or called out in their, in whatever they go through to sign up for this?
Yes.
Okay. Got a little marketing out of that too. Oh, it seems
I
good.
did have a home energy squad audit last November, and it was very easy. You just, sign up on the website, and they send you an email and schedule a time with you, and send you reminders of when they're coming, and it just really easy. And it was very thorough. It was, did the one that is the energy planner visit where they do the whole blower test and everything. And a lot of really good information and recommendations that they provide and what may be cost effective for the homeowner too. So I think this would be a great program to move forward.
How, I guess, question in terms of just marketing real quick, how in the weeds do you want this commission to get?
As in the weeds as you want. No. If you have in the weeds ideas, feel free to bring them forward. And then we can kind of assess them with communications since, they're a big.
The pros.
Yeah, they're the pros, big collaborating partners. So, want to make sure that communications staff department is on board with different ideas, but would love just brainstorming. Send me whatever you got.
Thanks.
All right, great. We will move along to our next item is the Oakdale Development Bus Tour update, and I will go ahead and let you talk about that. Unfortunately, when they did the bus tour in October, I was out of town, but it sounds like a great thing to do.
Yes, so October 2022, advisory commissions and the city council went on a bus tour of different developments in Oakdale. And then given the number of new developments, it's been a year and a half, staff is looking to host another bus tour, tentatively planned for May 7th. That can definitely change, but hopefully we'll have that locked in as soon as possible and let you know so you can get that on your calendar. So this is beneficial for, commissioners that have been on the commission for many years, and especially good for new ones, new commissioners to learn more about development in Oakdale. Some of the stops that were on the previous tour were, there's the Glenbrook area, because they were doing the Glenbrook small area plan at that time, which has been adopted since then. Willowbrook to showcase some of the apartment complex and the different townhomes and villas, the Forefront Technology Campus, I believe they went to the stormwater pond over by Hy-Vee, Tanner's Lake to look at the redevelopment parcels. So some of these stops have seen significant progress since then. So again, could be another, could be worthwhile to stop there again. And then there's lots of new developments. So really, we're just trying to gauge your interest in going on another tour, and then if you have ideas for stops that you would like to make. So again, you can give them to me now. You can, as they come to you. We kind of just started the process of planning, so nothing has really even been set. So I don't really have a deadline for when we would want to get those. But, in the next weeks, month, it'd be nice to have your ideas.
I certainly like the idea, and I would, of course, being new, it'd be all new to me, so that's good. And it seems like I'm on a one-track thing this meeting, but it'd be great to have some introduction to what's going on with this transit stuff, the Gold Line. I know that there's still a lot to go, looking through some of their plans and seeing, the new bridge and all that kind of stuff, and some of the ways that they're, just planning to intersect with our community would be interesting, I think.
Well, I'm definitely interested. I missed the last one, and would be interested if the May 7th date works out, or another date may be possible too.
I would also be very interested to ride.
Yes.
Good.
I'll be interested too.
Perfect. I think some of the community development staff are meeting either this week or next week to discuss, so then maybe I can kind of have more of a hard deadline for, when we want to kind of finalize a plan, and then I can follow up with you via email and, get your ideas in by whatever date, so no pressure to come up with a list now.
Okay.
Okay.
And another, not to shut off more discussion about it, but another thing that occurs to me, there's been a lot of school development, and it'd be interesting to see what's going on there too.
All right. Well, we move along in our agenda to the next item, which is in our first meeting of the year every year, we nominate and elect a commission chair and vice chair. And this year we will be doing that right now. And so we will nominate both candidates for chair and vice chair. And the nominations don't require a second, so you only need to make a nomination of a commissioner for the position of chairperson and for the position of vice chairperson. And then after that, we will close the nominations and use the ballots provided to elect a chairperson and a vice chairperson. So the floor is open for nominations. And I would make a motion to nominate Commissioner Girding for the position of chairperson.
I'd make a motion to nominate current Chair Miller for Vice Chair.
There are no new nominations. I will make a motion to close the nominations for chairperson and vice chairperson positions. And that motion does require a second.
I second.
All right. Well, I think since there are only one nominated for each position, what we have done in the past is just done a voice vote for this. I think we can do that this evening as well. All in favor of, I guess I don't want to, yes. All in favor of Commissioner Girding for the position of chairperson, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor of the motion for Commissioner Miller for the position of vice chairperson, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and so we now move to the election of these two positions, and they do require a second. So a motion to elect Commissioner Girding for the position of chairperson for the 2024 calendar year, commencing with the current meeting date.
A second?
And I'll, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then I'll make a motion to elect Commissioner Miller for the position of vice chairperson for the 24 calendar year, commencing with the current date.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. So.
Well, congratulations to the
Thank
new
you.
leadership.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all.
So you want to close out the
I
meeting?
guess we can, my favorite part of cross collaboration, yeah. Close out the meeting with some updates, I think. First up is our staff liaison updates, and the community development update.
Yes, just a couple quick updates. The park system plan update is underway, so following an RFP solicitation in fall, the city signed a contract with SRF Consulting in January to help the city update the plan. A kickoff meeting occurred in mid-January, and the consultant is now working to comb through previous planning efforts and data. Community engagement efforts will start to pop up, such as online surveys, conversations with community event attendees at different events. The consultant also plans to present to the EMC at some point during the project. A date has not been discussed, but the EMC will be provided with an in-person update at some point at one of their meetings. So very exciting that that's, off the ground. And then an update about the 3M PFAS settlement. So I reached out to Monica Stiglich, who's previously presented at the EMC. She told me that there's been some updates, so I was able to find a document on the settlement website with some January 2024 updates. Priority 2 funding will be a 2-part grant application, so there will be a letter of intent for funding that'll be due late spring of 2024, and then the full grant application will be due fall of 2024. There's no specific deadlines, that's just kind of their timeline at this point. And then throughout winter of 2024 and 2025, applicants will be notified, and then projects will officially get underway next spring, 2025. So now's probably a good time to start brainstorming potential projects. I'll follow up after this meeting and send that document that I found on their settlement webpage that either refreshes or introduces, the goals of priority 2 funding. So that can help inform potential grant application ideas if that's something that we want to pursue. So hopefully Monica will be able to present more details at an upcoming EMC meeting, but wanted to give you that quick update that things are slowly moving.
Great, thank you. All right, we're moving on to any updates from our commissioners.
I do have a couple of updates. One that I just got today, that there is a solar on public buildings grant program for the state of Minnesota and tribal nations, and looking at local governments, cities, to provide grants for solar on their public buildings, and there will be a webinar on Thursday, February 22nd, provided by the Solar on Public Buildings Program Administrator with the Minnesota Department of Commerce. And so I'm planning to sit in on that. It's an hour meeting, webinar. So I'm going to sign up for that. And if other commissioners are interested, it should be a good program. Find out about that. And the other one, on a personal note, I was looking back through my records, and I was initially appointed to this commission in 2004. So this is my 20th year on the commission, and I think 17 years of chairing. And so it's good to pass the baton this year. But looking forward to being the vice chair and continuing the work of this commission, which I am proud to be a part of.
I feel like we may need a Chair Emeritus badge or something for formerly Chair Miller. So, no, we're very grateful for your commitment to Oakdale on this commission and your passion for all this work, so thank you. Any other commissioner updates? Hearing none, I will invite council liaison updates from Mayor Zabel.
Thank you, everybody. You guys had quite the agenda tonight. Lots on there, but just goes to show how much is happening in our community. From the city council, not too much, other than a slew of development activity to start off the new year. We haven't seen too much. For the commission, since you met last in November, I believe, the city adopted our 2024 budget. I think I covered some of the high points at your last meeting. But once again, you know, some high points in there, hiring 3 more police officers, or funding to hire 3 more police officers this year, an additional worker for public works, continuing our transition to using cash instead of bonds for our vehicle purchases in the city, and another year of cutting our tax rate as a city. So obviously a big part of our budget is determined by property values in our community, and as we all saw, values went up yet again in 2023. So because of that, we were able to cut our tax rate for, I believe, the 4th year in a row. So other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
I have a question, because right now the home energy audit is a pilot project, correct?
Correct.
What would it take for it to become a more permanent project?
Success.
By,
No,
by success, does that mean like the money being used up, or like the number of residents expressing interest?
Yes. No, when the city council discussed it, you know, we recognize it's a new program for our community. So, you know, understanding the interest level amongst our residents is important. You know, since we are dedicating funding to it, we want to make sure it's being utilized, but also that, you know, that the improvements are being made in our residents' properties as well. So, you know, I think for the funding we approved, it's about 100 residents that'll be able to take advantage of it. I think that the council felt that was a good sample size for us to get an understanding of, you know, what works in terms of promotion and communication, as well as getting our residents through the process and getting those changes made. So we are open to growth, but also based on the usage statistics from other cities, it seemed like around 100 was pretty consistent. So we'll give it a go, and we'll see how it turns out.
So just a follow-up question to something you said. So for the residents that are utilizing the program, CE does share which ones do go through with the improvements then, and which don't?
They share top-level information. I don't think it gets down to property specific.
Right.
But we do get that high-level information back. Yes.
No, that's good.
Yeah. Commissioners, any other questions tonight?
I was just wondering, you mentioned Public Works project. Is there a rough timeline for that?
For the new Public Works campus,
Yeah.
I believe we're still on track for groundbreaking this spring. I'm looking at our community development director. That's the hope.
Yes, for the environmental cleanup piece, and then summer for the Public Works building.
I knew he'd have the answer. Yeah. Yeah, there is some soil remediation that has to be done on the site, and I know the city is working through the tree inventory right now, so it's kind of a longer process, but we want to make sure all the pieces fall into place. But I think the vision is still that it would be done sometime next year. So it has been delayed just a little bit, you know, working with our partner on the land donation, and we expected that. So nothing to be concerned about, but it is moving forward.
Great.
All right, well, I will stick around until after if you have any questions that you didn't want to ask on camera, so.
Thank you, Mayor. Have anything? No? Great, well, I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn the February 12th meeting of the Environmental Management Commission.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second?
Discussion there. All in favor of adjourning the February 12th Environmental Management Commission meeting, say aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting adjourned.